Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the four Horsemen Cosmic Legion T.U.5.C.C. Sentry, or what was said to me, it pretty much spells out Tusk. Now, I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be. I would assume that they were trying to do that, with the 5 being the aspect. Tusk is way easier to say than T.U.5.C.C. So I'm going to go with the Tusk Sentry. This is another army builder. I picked this up at PowerCon for $30 to normally $40, but if you catch the full Horsemen at a con, I believe you pretty much get them at about $10 off. So anyway, here you go. He is an army builder. The body is the same as the last figure that I have. Different head, different accessories. So we're going to open them up. We're going to take a look at them. The paint is different, but we already know what the sculpt looks like. But we'll quickly go over that. Here is how he looks. Now, I kind of wish he was this blue rather than this gray. I think that would have been way sharper, but just me. On the side here, it gives a little detailed bio about him, or them, because they're army builders. Here is the cross-sell of all the Cosmic Legions. Here's their logo and different things like that. And again, if you don't think about the four Horsemen, you want to think about Mythic Legions. I just recently got into them. I mean, I've known about them for quite some time, but their sculpts, their designs are absolutely amazing. Again, I'll mention again, one of my, I wouldn't say issues, the one thing about the four Horsemen is you don't get a lot of articulation like you do with, let's say, Classified or a Valaverse figure, something like that. But what you are getting when it comes to any of the Mythic Legions that I've picked up, and even the one Cosmic Legion that I've opened up so far, is that the paint, the sculpt, it is immaculate. That is what you were paying for. You're not paying for the articulation like a lot of other figures that you are that are out there. These things are just going to be sharp. You're not going to see any types of mess ups with them. And they were wonderful people to deal with. Wonderful people to deal with too when I met them at the con. So anyway, let's stop looking at me and let's look at this. Before we do, if you like the content that I'm giving you, if you like when I do the full Horseman video or anything else, take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a 4 Horseman video. Now let's take a look at this figure. All right, he is out of his plastic prison, and we'll just quickly start off. He was a science officer that I already did, and there's a few things that I may have missed on that because it's my first one. I'm not a big Mythic Legions guy, so watch this one. Hopefully you'll see a few more things. I obviously didn't do the unboxing. We're going to quickly start with these things, which I thought were some sort of vials. Well, that is actually the way that they do it. So you can plug this in here, and then you can hold it on his person. So the way that these weapons here are held on in the back is there's little ports, and you just plug these right into the weapon, and that's actually what's going to hold them on. Be careful with them because it is nice that you can remove them. So if you're doing shots and stuff, you don't have them in the way. If you remember the early G.I. Joe, they tried to do the same thing, and on their weapons they just kind of left them there, and they look really stupid. The idea, the concept made sense, but unfortunately, and I've already lost one of these. It's somewhere here on the hardwood floor. I did hear it hit the ground, but it shot up. So quickly we'll take a look at his weapon. This is the exact same weapon that he comes with, or that the science officer comes with, only painted black. I do think the black looks way better. It has some nice detail to it. Again, there's the hole that you're going to use to plug it in. It kind of looks like a super soaker, when like you're going to be pumping this to shoot out. No porthole for blast effects. Has scope on it. No removable magazine. The finger does fit in, and the fingers kind of wrap around, or at least on this other ones that it does. So yeah, same weapon. Then he has this long-range sniper weapon, which, let's be honest, is really awesome. Now, I've already been told that because of the lack of articulation, it is hard to get them into really creative poses and everything, but we will see what we can do later on when we do some shots. The detail looks awesome. I would love if the handle, you know what, you could probably fit this into, let's say, a classified figure if you want to do some sort of like Cobra weapon, futuristic weapon that they're using. Again, no removable magazine, although it looks like it. You got this big sniper on the top, or big scope on the top for the sniper. It does have two little holes here, so if you want to put a strap in, I don't know if they make straps, but I'm sure you could make one. Again, looks really, really nice. And, wow. Okay, so there's a few things here. So he does have this alternate head. So you're going to have two different heads with these figures here. He has 6 eyes. Again, the sculpt looks really menacing. This is, again, a trooper. I mean, you can see all the scars and just the look of his head. Everything that the Horseman does when it comes to the sculpt, I think, is absolutely perfect. It is amazing. And again, you're paying a good amount of money, and I'm not going to say $40 to $50 for a figure is not a lot of money. I will never be that person. But what I'm going to say is, even though you don't get as much articulation, you do get some wonderful, wonderful sculpts and paint. Here's the piece that's going to go around. We saw this with the science officer also. Now it's going to clip on. Now this one here comes with a bubble, which the science officer did not. And from what I can tell, it's not just mine. So there's detail all on the inside of it. You're going to have this detail on the outside. There are no paint apps. Again, this is an army builder, so that's kind of where they cut costs. He has these two, I believe, weapons that are going to plug in. So this actually kind of works because they're going to go wherever you want, wherever you feel you want to mount them. I'm assuming the forearm is where the majority of these are going to be mounted. And they come with 2 of them. But again, you can put them wherever you want. Now, looking at it, I thought these were the same figures, but I'm wrong. So here he has this thumb wrestling hand. And as you can tell, it has 5 fingers. But these guys only have 3 fingers. So they're not the exact same sculpt. And I was able to kind of notice that I have them laid out there. So you have these 2 thumb wrestling hands. Their hands come out really easily, but because of how small the stem is, when it pegs in, you kind of have to get everything in position because they will fall out fairly easily. Now let's take a look at our figure. And what I thought was the same figure, well, I'm wrong. And there are a lot of similarities. Most of the stuff I would say is the same, but there are a few differences. Now, obviously, you have a different head sculpt, all right? And it just has this yellow that goes across. I'm not sure if this pops off. Again, this is what you're getting, the first impression. So, all right, so that does, all right. So, oh, I get it. All right. Huh. Okay. So, obviously, whatever's on the inside here is the same that's on the inside of that. I didn't realize that came off. I just watched a review of that and saw that that piece came off. So that's why I thought to try and take this off. So this has no paint at all. The design looks awesome. I don't know what that is. Again, I don't know anything about their lore, but you look at that sculpt. It just is very menacing, very alien-esque, I guess you could say. And there you have, the top of it. And it's like, is it supposed to be a mechanical creature? Is it a humanoid creature? It's hard to say exactly what. But the thing just pops right on. So that's where it's kind of break up your color there. On the front here, he has a different, looks like a fan. Where this guy, he has a different piece. Now the body is the same. All right, so all of this is the exact same, along with the forearms and the arms. So we'll just quickly look at the detail, and you can see exactly how nice it looks. Everything just kind of pops, even though it's one color. He's wearing the same belt. The difference is this belt here has these pieces that hang down, so you can put the side arms next to him. Or this one does not have it. Still has 2 pieces in the back, so you can attach his rifles to it, or whatever you want. Quickly, we'll look at articulation. I kind of skipped over that there. So you're not going to get a really big T-pose. You get almost a 90-degree bend there. You got this, the elbow swivel, the wrist obviously swivel back and forth. And now nothing here has been warmed up. He does kind of move up and down and side to side. No drop down hips, but get wonderful, wonderful Jean-Claude Van Damme. 90-degree, because they're not double joints, but they're also not pinless. Now this is where I really noticed that there was a difference. So the thighs look the exact same, the feet are the same, but the way that these stick out here, the calves are clearly different. Where I wanted to say this was more like a centaur, this looks more like a human. So let's say you have one of your human figures from Mythic Legions, you can easily pop that head on there, I do believe. And you can have a humanoid, and you can have this messing with your G.I. Joes or your Valiverse or whatever line you want to talk about. You know, it could be something in your Marvel Legends, and it would fit absolutely perfect if you have a humanoid head, and obviously you have a shield to watch it. So, they'll cover him so he can breathe. So, again, looking at the design, everything looks absolutely wonderful. He has his thigh here, so he can move, but again, you are limited to the types of poses and photography that you can do. With that said, I've seen people do wonderful photography with 5 points of articulation figures, which if you watch this channel, you know I'm not a big fan of, other than the original Star Wars, and obviously stuff from like the late 70s, early 80s, you know, all those adventure people, but I don't think that G.I. Joe figures should be in 5 points of articulation. I'm not even going to say their name. But the difference is between something like this, where you do get a select amount of articulation, compared to, let's say, a Super 7 Ultimate, is that a Super 7 Ultimate is $55. This is $40 or $50, depending on which figure you get, but the sculpt, the paint is immaculate. You don't have to worry about not getting what you actually pre-ordered or what you ordered like you do with that other company. And yes, I do have an issue with them, if anyone is wondering. I just think that they give way too much BS. So, let's pop the head off here. And, oh, the necktie came off. Now, from what I understand, and again, I'm not huge into Mythic Legions, everything is supposed to be very modular. So, when I popped the head off the other guy, I did not have this issue. So everything's supposed to be interchangeable. And as you can see, I might have to heat this head up so I can get this neck piece out. So you can see, oops, okay, we don't, but try not to knock our phone over. So here we go. I'm gonna pop this head on it. Now I gotta say this, one thing I do like, especially now that I can see that I can pop off different pieces, this one's a little different. I like the fact that it's clear, is that these are army builders. So let's say you build an army, which again, if you're gonna build an army, I was gonna say, make sure you make it to one of their cons, so you can buy them and get them at a cheaper price. You can make all different types of figures. Since all the head pegs are the same, the arms are the same, and different things like that, you can mix and match all you want. Now, if you're willing to paint in a very expensive figure, then God bless you. So, what we're going to do is pop this on here, since we didn't get to do this on the last one. And I did go, like I said, I did mention that I went and I looked when I saw this come off and realized it's the exact same, to make sure that I wasn't just missing it. So, looking at that, whew, that looks pretty sweet. You get this nice glare from it. It also pops off, so it's kind of like it's retracted, if that's how you want them walking around. You can have either one of them. You can pop this off, have that underneath it. I mean, this is going to have some wonderful pictures that you can do. So, let's take these little weapons. I'm assuming that they're weapons. I mean, they could be anything. They could be flashlights if you want it. They could be lasers. They could be cutting weapons, or who knows. that's me just rambling on, guys. But hey, you know what? Monday Night Toy Ramblings. If you haven't been there, check it out. You know that's what I'm all about. So this looks pretty cool. I like the fact that they're black, so we could pop them on this figure and it'd be universal. You wouldn't think too much about it. Take these off here. Since he already has the trigger finger on, we'll take this weapon, his main rifle, and throw it on here and see how it looks. So lose that head there. So here you have him. Again, you're not going to be able to get him in dynamic poses where they are. What you can do is classified. I mean, you can see Stalker sitting back there. You can see Torpedo sitting over there. I can do all kinds of shots like that when it comes to classified, Valiverse, you know, like pose like that. You're not going to get a pose like that. It's just not possible. You're paying for the sculpt, the paint, the design, the IP that they have created. So let's pop this off because it's hard to see his face. So I will show you here. Now, I think they just give you extra because there's no reason to have this many, because they probably assume people are going to lose them. Because for this person here, he doesn't have more than 2 weapons that he could put on. So here we can kind of just throw that on there. And now let's throw the big sniper on him. And again, you're not going to get that cross-sell or that cross body grab that you do with so many other figures that I just showed you with the rock and roll. But with something this size, you can easily post it behind, you know, and so it's on something where he's actually taking a look, ready to fire on something. Again, we also don't know how strong these guys are. I mean, these guys are so strong, they don't need to they don't need to fire it with 2 hands. So there you go. That is the T.U.5.C.C Sentry. I'm assuming these are their soldiers. I think it looks really cool. Again, I like the fact that this is different. Obviously, their suits are supposed to be the same, but they have different styles of legs. So, and different hands. So they're all part of the same group, would be my guess. The T.U.5.C.C, but these are different types of humanoid figures. Everything seems to be the same other than the legs and the hands with these people, and obviously their heads look a little bit different. So there you go. Let's wrap it up and you can decide what you think. All right, so before someone yells at me and says that you can get them holding the rifle, as you can see, I was able to do it. It's actually not that bad. You have to struggle a little bit. Again, it kind of falls into a really good place. You're not going to get him peeking or peering through the scope, but again, for the right shots, you don't need to do that. You can manipulate your camera. I think this looks absolutely amazing, to be honest. I love this long rifle. Again, I just picked one up with the Valiverse set. The sniper rifle, not as long as this, but it's, again, not futuristic. I think these things look really nice. I forgot to show you how the hands come off. You can see that in the other video, which I will post a link to. And all in all, like, for $30, these are really good figures. I'm not going full on down the road with this line, as I'm not a huge Mythic Legions person, but I really do like this figure. Again, there's not a lot of paint. You can watch some of my Mythic Legion reviews, and you can see when they do paint, they do it spot on. But these things they're just nice looking figures. I think you're going to be really happy with it. So that's my wrap with it. All right, so there you go. That's my final review of the T.U.5.C.C Sentry. Again, if you're new to the channel, I want people to understand just quickly. I want to show you what it's like right when the figure comes out of the box. A lot of people don't do that. They show you after they've manipulated it, they've warmed it up if they need to warm it up, after they sat there and they did perfect poses, and that's great. But I want to give people an impression of what you're going to get when you open it up out of the box. Now, you didn't see me open this up. I did it with the science officer. It's a lot of crackling and noise like that. You really don't need to see that. Again, You can go back and watch the other video. But again, that's the reason why I do what I do. I know how to pose figures. Most of you do. But I'm not doing it like that. There are a lot of people that show up. I know when I was getting into a lot of different things, I'm like, I just want to know how they're packaged. How do they come out? What are they like? There is no problem with warming up your figures. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but if you are doing it, you need to let people know that. Now, a lot of people don't. A lot of people, they get free product. They're getting paid. They're getting stuff like this. I don't do that. I pay for all my stuff. So I want people to understand, like, hey, when you're buying this, this is what you're getting. That's the difference between a lot of different channels. And that's what you're really going to get here, is I'm just going to tell you, show you what it is. I'm not getting any free product. I'm not worried about hurting a brand's feelings. And then I'm saying, hey, you know what? We saw your video. I don't know why I went into that rant. I just kind of wanted to let people know. I think because I don't do a lot of Mythic Legions. If it's classified, Valiverse, you know, you guys have been with me for quite some time. So anyway, I am going to get out of here. But I want you guys all to know, Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. Then there is the social medias, which we all have, you know, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, a punk with toys. And last but not least, don't go anywhere, because you watched it this far. You're going to enjoy the content. I know you are. Take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a 4 Horsemen video or any other type of toy content. Now, don't go anywhere. Sit here. Watch what else I have on here. Right up here is the science officer, and right down here is all the other 4 Horsemen stuff that I've done. Have a wonderful day.